I'm Ella, and I'm dramatic and problematic.
She's a Mona Lisa.
Hi y'all, and welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. This season opener, I was like shocked. I genuinely thought it was one of the best season openers for at least a teen show that I've seen in a long time. Like lately teen shows, like they're just not hitting as hard. Like the first season, good or bad, and then the second season just gets worse. So I was shocked to see a teen show that actually got better the second season. I mean, I really did like the show the first season, even if it's cringy. Honestly, what I really like about this season, it really feels like they're taking all the building blocks, everything they set up last season, and building up on it. Because we also get a lot of shows, Euphoria, that will have a lot of plot lines that they forget about in their second season. So this video is not really gonna have any spoilers past this scene that I'm gonna be talking about. You're doubting whether you should watch this season or not, watch this video and let me know if you want to watch it after. Start off with a flashback of Ginny and Georgia. So this is before Austin was born, and it's just them dancing around in this kitchen, and we're just reestablishing their dynamic. You know, being mother and daughter, like this is what the show is about. It's like Gilmore Girls but dark. It's kind of scary because this scene does get recontextualized later on in the season, and we see what was going on. It's creepy. So basically Ginny is just giving some narration during this flashback, and then it ends with her telling us danger is supposed to come with warning signs. Obviously did not apply to her mama there. So it cuts to Ginny in her bed, and she's reading this book called Parable of a Sower. Honestly, I was so excited to see her reading right away because I feel like in season 1 they talked so much about how she's so smart, she loves reading, blah blah, and we never saw it. Like it's never really that big of a plot point. And in this season they actually took the time to make it into a plot point, not only in this scene but like later on, and it's like we love to see it. And interestingly enough, the book she is reading is a dystopian novel. So this story is about this girl Lauren and her father, who's a preacher, and a handful other citizens around in LA, I guess is where they live, trying to salvage what's left of culture after everything basically has been destroyed by drugs, disease, war, and chronic water shortages. Her dad is trying to lead people on the righteous path, but Lauren has this thing called hyper empathy where she can just feel people's emotions. It makes her very sensitive to people's pain. A fire destroys their compound and Lauren's family is killed. Of course Ginny would read this, and I have not read the book yet, but it's definitely on my list now. Because you know why? Apparently in the book they have a US president, obviously standing US president, is promising, and I quote, to make America great again. So dystopia or reality? You tell me. This book was published in 1993. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to read this book that Ginny's reading and make a reading vlog about it, or just like a review on it, because it does seem really interesting. Anyways, Georgia comes into the room and immediately is calling her out for reading something angsty and emotional. Like, wow, that's a lot of energy for someone who just walked into the room without being invited. I think it's also Ginny's fault because she's just laying in her bed with the door wide open. Like, close your door, girl. I think it was done well because it is something moms do. And I think the reason why moms do this is because they don't understand what their kids are into. The best example I can think of is like moms with their sons and like their video games. Like, obviously, they don't understand video games. And like, yeah, we might say video games rock kids' brains, but if you're a kid playing a video game, like you have your reasons why you like it. There's specific things. Instead of your parents trying to understand you and why you like it, they just say it's dumb. But of course, parents still want to feel close to their kids even if they don't understand them. So they still try to reach out with their interests, but instead of like making an effort and trying to get to know it, they make fun. Like that's what a lot of parents do because that's the only way they know how to interact with their children. That's probably one of the reasons why Georgia made that joke, honestly. But I think the real reason behind her comment becomes really clear very soon, because Georgia makes a joke about not knowing what parable or sower means, and I don't know if that's really a joke because maybe she just doesn't know what it means, which no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. We've seen her past, and we've seen like she didn't really receive a proper education, and that was not her parents' priority. So like it's not a big deal, but clearly she has not filled in that gap in her education, which I'm not blaming her for because it's hard. She doesn't need to call out her daughter for liking books that she doesn't understand. Because right there, she's just showing us her biggest insecurity. Perceived lack of intelligence from herself. And I mean, it's hard to see that as insecurity because she's always throwing these jokes around. She has a lot of sass, attitude, and this southern drawl that just, but deep inside that, it is insecurity that she's trying to mask. And obviously, because Ginny's her daughter, she projects herself a lot onto Ginny and the type of person she wants to be. She's giving Ginny the life she never had. She's being the parent she always wishes she had it. That's why she lets Ginny get away with so much shit.
Bad Ginny.
Because when she was a teenager, she probably wished she could have had a normal teenage life like the other teenagers did. So when the problem comes in is when Georgia sees Ginny acting in ways that Georgia would not have acted. And I think that's where her more aggressive side comes, and she starts criticizing her daughter for these things. And to further my point after this, Georgia continues to joke about this and then just starts questioning Ginny on her own knowledge. It's like,
What's a sower? Use it in a sentence.
like that is just the meaning. That is just the meaning to her interest in like literally the book she's reading right now. She's trying to make her daughter feel as small, insignificant, and dumb as she feels. So at this point, obviously, Ginny starts to become more annoyed. Of course, her mom has to just go in and mock her face like,
Can I help you?
Why the face?
This is my face.
This is my face.
trying to bring her daughter down to her level and act as childish as her, because basically George is acting very childish and Ginny is not at this moment. And then Georgia jumps in the bed and Ginny's just like, okay, come on, don't settle in. This sounds like what a parent would say to their 8-year-old child if they were having nightmares and wanted to sleep in their bed at night. This is not what a kid should be saying to their parent. And they go back and forth a bit more. I mean, Ginny does say something a bit more snarky.
Is that why your wrinkles are so pronounced?
But she doesn't really get riled up. Honestly, she's very much just like annoyed, but like used to the annoyance. So she's dealing with it. Doesn't seem like George is happy with that. So she decides to just start a pillow fight with her daughter. Ginny does not want this pillow fight to be happening. And of course, George is just like, you're my child. Like, I'm your mom, like blah, blah, blah. And it's just like using this as an excuse and invade her personal space. Even as Ginny is telling her to stop, George just pins her down with a pillow and starts saying nonsense about how she needs to follow the parables and follow the sound of the angels singing. Like, what? What do you mean? This is when it starts getting weird, this scene. Finally, Ginny corrects her mother, just outright tells her the definition of parable. And so this makes Georgia snap. Starts to asphyxiate her with a pillow as she tells her to go into the light. Excuse me, what is going on? What? That was my reaction when I was watching this. Ginny just tells her stop, like she can't breathe. And Georgia's going at it like, you'll be okay, honey. Like, mommy will take care of it. Horror. That was like out of a horror movie. And like, excuse me, like they did actually get me. They got me, y'all. And obviously, Ginny then wakes up from her dream. So I know it was a dream. It might seem kind of pointless to analyze the interactions, but I think the fact that it's a dream, it is very telling because it might not be a specific interaction they had, but it's an amalgamation of interactions they've had. I don't think Georgia ever asphyxiated her, but everything leading up to the pillow fight moment, it felt like an elevation of their interactions throughout the first season. And I know starting something off with a dream sequence can be seen as very cliche, but it's because usually it doesn't work. Usually, like, you can tell it's a dream before, but you can't with this. The more psychological part of it, like, it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing between mom and daughter relationships, I feel like. Even in this, like, fantasy, like, fucking setting where I say fantasy because, like, the way Georgia's a murderer, like, that's not realistic at all. And they still find a way to make these characters compelling. And the stories feel real. Also, I think it's really important because it does give a lot of hints and symbolism that will be recurring throughout the rest of the season. Like, I literally didn't even realize until I was making this video, they're literally foreshadowing like a really important plot point of the season. If you haven't watched the new season of Ginny and Georgia yet, I hope this video convinces you to because it is better than the first season. I know the first season was a mess. Oppression Olympics, let's go! But there's barely any Hunter this season, so like, no reason not to watch it. And so if you guys like this analysis of the scene of Ginny and Georgia, please let me know in the comments because it was weird to make this type of video because I've never done anything like this before exactly. This is more like a video essay type of video. And so I hope you guys did like it. because I don't know, I really enjoy making it. So if you did like it, please leave a like. And if you want to hang around more and be part of the clown cult, then you can subscribe. I just hope y'all are having a fantabulous morning, afternoon, or night, whatever time it is for y'all. I love you guys so much. Mwah.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her.